it's him. I have a cat in my lap at the moment. So if I make any sudden movements, it's because he's dug his claws in or something. Right now he's purring and licking my leg, so. Here to talk about The GUNCLE by Stephen Rowley. Maybe Crowley is here because he knows it's almost his name. I have had this book on my want to read list for a couple of years, ever since a woman in my book club read it and talked about it, and it sounded fun and interesting. I love Auntie Mame, and this, I mean, look at this cover. It looks fun. The premise sounds very Auntie Mame-esque. Patrick is a semi-retired sitcom star, the gay uncle, the GUNCLE of the book. He has a niece, Maisie, who's 9, and a nephew, Grant, who is 6, who need to come stay with him basically for the summer. It sounds like it would be fun and cute. I was expecting fun and cute. The cover, gives fun and cute, and yet I feel like it doesn't do what it says on the 10, so to speak. I should have known when I picked it up and started reading it, and the first part is a flashback in which Patrick is in college and his best friend Sarah, he and Sarah are on a rooftop, and they're taking photographs and they get in trouble for being somewhere they're not supposed to be, which cute start, but it goes from there into current. I think the book was published in 2021. It goes into, modern day, and Sarah has just passed away from cancer. We find out that Sarah had married Patrick's brother, Greg, and so she was not only his kind of best friend, but also his sister-in-law. He lived in California because he was a sitcom star. She and Greg and their kids and the rest of Patrick's family live in Connecticut, which is where Patrick grew up. When Sarah passes away, it's revealed that Greg also has developed kind of an opioid addiction, I want to say. He had been sneaking Sarah's pain meds, if I'm understanding right, and so he needs immediately to go into rehab, which is why he asks Patrick to take the kids. His rehab is actually going to be in California, where all the celebrities get cured, at least temporarily, and and so it's like, and then the kids will be kind of close, and their sister Clara takes kind of offense to this. She's married and I think has kids of her own, but they're older, maybe teenagers or something. But she thinks it would be better if Maisie and Grant stayed with her, in a family unit, especially since they know her better, since she lives close and they see her more often. But in any case, it wouldn't be a book if the kids didn't go with Patrick, and Patrick kind of, learns how to be full-time caregiver to 2 young, precocious kids. It's a cute concept for sure, which is what sold me, but the execution is a little bit more maudlin and family drama than funny, and the things that I think are supposed to be funny, Patrick's snappy, witty comebacks, aren't actually that funny, aren't generally very appropriate for him to be dealing with 2 young kids. Not that I haven't done the same with my kids, but and just after a while it gets not even less funny, because it wasn't really that funny to begin with, but it gets just wearing. It just, this book is 324 pages, and it just kind of meanders through Patrick taking the kids to various restaurants, the kids showing Patrick how to do YouTube, they swim a lot, Maisie's kind of having an identity crisis where she doesn't want to wear girl bathing suits. She wants to wear boy bathing suits, and, you know, things like that. Meanwhile, there's kind of a plot in which Patrick is trying to determine what the next step in his career is, like what he wants to do next, and kind of a plot where he sort of starts a new relationship with another actor. Patrick has this backstory where he had, I guess, a long-time boyfriend named Joe, and then they were in a car accident, and Joe died. Not immediately, but about 4 days after the accident. Joe's family came in and pulled the plug on him, and so Patrick doesn't drive. He's kind of isolated himself, trying not to form those kind of attachments. So, of course, having these two kids and bonding, and, you know, and then there's thematic stuff going on that I get it. It wasn't what I wanted from this book, and I also just, again, don't think the execution was fantastic. It wasn't terrible. I gave the book 3 stars. Trying to grade it on what it is versus what I wanted it to be, which was tough because, like, when I picked it up, I was in a different headspace and mood than what this book provided. So it took me a long time to finish, just because, like, partly because I kept getting library books, as I mentioned in my previous video, and so I kept putting this one off to read the library books. But if I had loved this book, I'd have sped through it, right? Because I do speed through books I'm enjoying. So, I found out Stephen Rowley went to Emerson like I did. I'm assuming he's younger than me. Maybe he got... I don't know if he was in the master's program or not. He lives in Palm Springs, California, so he's writing... I mean, his descriptions of, you know, Palm Springs are very detailed in this. It says he's like best-selling author of Lily and the Octopus and the Editor. I've never heard of either of those books. Like I said, I only heard of this one because a lady in my book club had read it. And so, I mean, I guess best-selling these days is kind of this amorphous, gold star that you can put on things, because the metric can be, I don't know. In any case, it was fine. It wasn't stellar, and it was kind of, like I said, it kind of meandered. There's a point in which Clara serves Patrick and Greg, he's in rehab, but he gets served with papers as she tries to legally take custody of the kids. And then, like, within 2 chapters, Patrick just deals with that issue, and it just feels like, why was that even a plot point if nothing was going to come of it? And then Clara reveals that, oh, actually she's divorcing her husband because he's been having an affair. And I'm like, okay, so again, here's a plot point that nothing ever comes of. So there's just like all these little tidbits that I feel like, and I don't know, did he write more books with these characters? Because I'm like, were we supposed to expect this to continue? We were supposed to get a book about Clara or about, you know, the boyfriend, Emery, or whatever. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot of little stuff sprinkled in that's almost like, oh, adding salt to taste, but then, like, it doesn't functionally do anything for the story overall. The kids weren't that cute. Patrick wasn't that funny. There's a dog. There's a couple of dogs, because the neighbor has a dog too, I think. Yeah, there's a neighboring throuple, who were interesting, but again, it was just like, why are they even there? I don't know. It felt kind of all over the place, and without the kind of core that really holds, despite the themes that were, I don't know, I felt kind of hit over the head with some of the themes because it's told from Patrick's point of view, not first person, but still, like, mostly, this was the other thing, it's mostly Patrick's limited point of view, but every now and then it'll be like we get Clara's thoughts or feelings, or, you know, somebody else's thoughts or feelings just thrown in randomly, and it's like, it's jarring. I know that that's something that used to be very common in writing, where you just, whoever's talking in that paragraph, you could append their feeling, their thought, or whatever. But modern, stylistically written stuff, we typically look for staying in one person's point of view unless there's a break, paragraph break, chapter break, whatever. So it was weird to see it written that way, because that is not common these days. Yeah, and I mean, I noticed it as somebody who is an editor now, you know, and worked as an editor before. Like, it was noticeable to me. So yeah, that's my overall take on the GUNCLE. If you've read it, let me know what you thought. If you read either of these other ones, Lily and the Octopus or The Editor, let me know if those are any good. Were they big books and I just totally somehow missed the memo? If you know of anything more fun, that like what I thought this was going to be, like some kind of fun version of this, let me know that too, because I would love to read it. I'm looking for something a little more lighthearted and fun. And yeah, until next time, take care.